Damn, PSG just showed Real Madrid how it's done. They won 4-0. And we got a lot to talk about today because I think it gave us a little insight into what this Real Madrid team looks like right now and what they look like after all of this, rebuilding and some excitement. A lot of glaze for Fran Garcia just is out the window absolutely after today. And I think it makes sense. I think a lot of people were getting really excited, really hyped, and really pumped on what this team could be. This is a real rude awakening, especially for the biggest problem, I think, for this Madrid side, their defensive shape, their defensive line. Today was a little unfair. They didn't have Housen because he got yellow card accumulation. Trent also didn't play for one reason or another. I'm not sure if he's injured or what, but they just looked never in a million years today did I think they had a chance to even bring anything back. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I'm going to see what happened with Trent here. But they just could not compete. And to be fair, I think this is probably the best team in the world by a decent margin. And honestly, PSG is fantastic. They've been great all season. I stand on the platform saying that all of football, bar Real Madrid, butthurt Real Madrid fans, were robbed of a Barcelona versus PSG final in the Champions League. I think at that stage, Barcelona was the only team that could beat them or even put up a fight, and seeing those two wild styles of football could have been great. It also could have been exploited like crazy, like we saw the high line by Xabi Alonso get really just blown out of proportion here by the pacey wingers that are on PSG. And so it was just not really that fair for them, but I'm still butthurt that we didn't get it. The point here is, though, Real Madrid is not really very good. It's not good enough, and that's okay right now. We'll see how that develops going into the next few months and everything, and what their team looks like going forward. It's very clear to me that Fran Garcia is just not good enough, and it's so funny, too, that immediately after one good performance, winning the man of the match last match, and all of this nonsense about him being so great and back and blah, 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 and putting in this performance just immediately brings us back down to earth. Antonio Carreras from Benfica is set to join. And so I think he's a right back. Antonio Carreras position. And so we'll see. Yeah, he's a left back. So we'll see if Fran Garcia's got a spot. I think Carreras has a better future and has a lot more potential. He's already played Barcelona, played okay. Lamine Yamal is Lamine Yamal, so he kind of exposed him. But this, to be fair to Fran Garcia, this PSG team is just, they move differently. Everyone is rotating around. Pretty much all of the wingers just seem elite right now. Barcola, Dembele. I'm going to not say Kvaratskhelia because I have some words to say about him in a little bit, but Doué, obviously, they're all clicking in just beautiful ways. Like it is great football to watch as a Barcelona fan, as a Madrid fan, as a PSG fan, whoever it is. You got to appreciate what they're doing. It's really, really nice. I think they're going to win the Club World Cup unless Chelsea pulls off some magic. I doubt it. I don't know. They played well against Fluminense, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Fluminense played well in the tournament, but I just don't think Chelsea's good enough, and we'll see how that ends up turning up. But I think that was the same thing with Real Madrid here, where they had kind of a little walk in the park. Dortmund wasn't great. Juve was pathetic, bro, just sitting back. One of the reasons I think the Araujo move might make sense for at least him, but we'll get to that at the end. I just think Real Madrid just got a little lucky with the teams they played and didn't get exposed too much, didn't get too much pressure put on them. And obviously, they're not up to par with the best teams in the world right now, or yet. And obviously, right? That's okay. I'm not saying they have to be or anything like that, or I'm not surprised that they aren't, right? Barcelona, when Hansi Flick first joined last year, we went down a goal in like every single game for like the first 5 games, and they came back. They figured it out. We'll see if Real Madrid can figure that out and do the same in the next few games that they play against big clubs. The problem now is that there's like what they're going to do. I don't even know if they're going to play any more football for the rest of the summer. I would assume a little bit more, but basically it's just training for the next month until La Liga starts up again. And so I'm not exactly sure what we're going to see and how they're going to perform when the Clásico, when Atleti matches come up for Madrid. I'm not sure what side they're going to look like. I also think Atletico Madrid could have been a good side to play against PSG in the Champions League final, or they wouldn't have played in the final, but they could have played in the semis, and that would have been a pretty cool matchup. Unfairly, I would argue, thrown out because of the Julian Alvarez penalty double touch, but it's neither here nor there. I do think this Madrid team can really fight for a win against a great team like this. I think they can score goals. Today it didn't really look that great. They got into some decent positions and everything, but realistically, it's like Vinny got into a good spot. Mbappe wasn't filling the space in the middle, or Mbappe got into a good spot. He had no support around him. Fede Valverde was finally released at the end when Carvajal came back on, but then there was nobody around him. Arda Güler looked decent, but again, not a ton going on around him. And of course, there's not. They have to focus so much on this constant, unbelievable rotation from all the wingers by PSG. It's a lot to deal with, but Madrid just, I don't know. Xabi Alonso's a good manager. He still is a newer manager, only coached Bayern Leverkusen. And so, I don't expect him to be able to respond to a veteran like Luis Enrique, right? Unequivocally, one of the best managers we've seen in the past 10 years based off of solely amounts of trebles, we could say. And so, I'm not saying it's the end of the world for Madrid. I think they can get really good. And I think it's going to be exciting to see these two teams battle. Obviously, guys, I enjoyed watching us just beat the crap out of Madrid this season and everything. And that was fun. I think it's good for the game. It's good for La Liga. It's good for Barcelona to have a competitive team to play against. Atleti, there's always a question mark around them bringing in some good guys like Alex Baena, who is a very promising player, but I'm still not sure exactly how he's going to fit into this Diego Simeone side, where he's going to play. We saw Rodrigo de Paul might leave and go to Inter Miami recently. So there's a lot going on. And I think that is good, but there's still too many question marks in La Liga than I'd like, and I would have preferred if Madrid really competed today. I'm okay with them losing. I'm okay with PSG winning the Club World Cup. Honestly, I think they deserve it as a team. They are incredibly good at working together as a team. This is another reason that I think the Ballon d'Or argument for Dembele is just not there, because for one, yes, the team is fantastic, but it's such the team that. And especially with the wingers, where they can constantly rotate, basically a whole nother front three that's almost just as good as the initial front three, that to me feels like it's just not, you can't give it to one of them when there's six of them that are all playing together, all warming, like fuming together in this one way. And when Rafinha has better stats than Dembele. Yeah, if you want to include the Club World Cup stats, go ahead, and that might change it. But the Rafinha has more, or the same amount of goals and more assists, like 9 more assists or something like that. And if we're going to go by stats, it's Rafinha. If we're going to go by impact, I would also probably say Rafinha, Pedri, even Vitinha would get it, in my opinion, over Dembele based solely on sole impact of one person, or just aura and excitement in the game and joy to watch. It's got to be Lamine Yamal. So there's a lot of different ways you can look at this. I think trophies, obviously, it's Dembele or Vitinha, but again, because of the way this PSG side is laid out, I don't think it's the right decision to just give it to Dembele when realistically, this is very clearly not Dembele's team. I know he's been injured and he hasn't been informed, but it's been like that for 3 months or something, right? And they haven't need to worry about it because they won Ligue 1 8 months ago, basically, because it's such an easy league. There's no competitors, especially this season. They didn't have to worry about anything. And with this rotation, it's just unfair, and especially for a team like Madrid today. So I think Madrid's going to be a lot better going forward. I want to get back into that Ronaldo Araujo thing I just mentioned here before we end the video. And like I said, there's been some rumors about Juve looking at him and being interested in him. Those are confirmed. There's been other talk that I tweeted about and stuff that's kind of just speculation by fans and stuff, saying maybe a swap deal with Kenan Yildiz from Juve. He's an attacking midfielder / left winger who is still 20 years old, very promising though, but just still a raw talent. Nothing like a proven 20 goals, 15 goals even a season. There's still a lot there that needs to be worked on and developed. And that being said, there's a lot of potential, a lot of talk around him. And so some people talked about a swap deal between him and Araujo. Now, for Ron, I think it makes a lot more sense because Juve is just sitting back, kind of lame football, at least what we saw from the Club World Cup. They just weren't great. It was kind of boring. That is prime Ronald Araujo space, bro. Sit him in the box the whole match, and he's got it. The second he's got to run backwards and do something, it gets a little hairy. That doesn't mean I don't think he can do it, and that doesn't mean I don't think he's done for. But as a team that sits back and defends, maybe a mid-block even, he is your guy. I think that's part of the reason he was really good under Xavi for the vast majority of the time, with the exception of obviously against PSG, but they were higher. They had a higher line there. They were running backwards, and every time Xavi tried to play a high line, things were just screwed up, man. It just didn't work. It's an interesting thing to keep your eye on. I don't think the swap deal is happening, but I do think the him to Juve move could be on. We'll see. We'll see if Barcelona need money. They have the center backs to cover it, but if they want to force a bigger move for a more expensive winger or somebody like Yildiz, I think they're going to have to see a big departure like Araujo go. And frankly, I don't think he's going to go. I think he's going to re-sign his contract eventually because he seems to want to stay. And Laporta and Deco want to keep him as well. We'll see what happens. That's the Barcelona news for the day. But Madrid lost. We'll see what happens with PSG this weekend. But it's never a bad day when Real Madrid lose 4-0. I'll see all you guys, though, in the next one. Peace.